Well, good morning, everyone. How you doing? Hope you're having a great start to your day. Hope you had your vitamin C. We're going to talk about that this morning. And Francis Marie, you're up number one today, that I see anyway. And Gary, good morning. Rosa, nice to have you on. Carrie from Nebraska. Sandy, good morning. Kathy and Anna, right in our back door of Hamner. Elsie, good morning. Jen said she missed me. Nick, like a toothache? John. Sandra from Aurelia. Flo, good morning. Mary and Brenda and Fran from Orangeville. Rainy day, it's sunny here so far anyways. Andrea, Nouveau Brunswick. Betty, Deb from Timmins, Claire, Bonfield, bonjour. My distant cousin, Susan, Harold, Sue, Samuel, Indiana, Pam. Brenda's from Campbell River, British Columbia. Sandra and Gloria and Yvonne, bonjour. And Yolande, bonjour. Maria and Jane, good to have you on. I was waiting for you, Brahim. Good morning. And Mary Ellen. Donna, Newfoundland. We love Newfoundland. Amelia, New Brunswick. Sherry, Star, good morning. Sharon, Wyoming. And Roma, good morning. Sean, our friend, Doc McEwen, good morning. May, Southern Ontario, and it's raining down there. Hazel. And Sue, good morning. Okay, a couple more. Zian, bonjour. Mabel. I like your last name, Mabel. Deb from Detroit, Michigan. Jean, Margaret. Okay, let's get going, guys. Now, I'm calling this 2 to 4. You'll see why in a minute. 2 to 4. Going to talk to you about 3 studies that came out that I saw on the weekend, and I flagged them so that we could talk about them. Interesting. And I got to start with my favorite one. Okay? Why am I saying 2 to 4? Because in this particular study about vitamin C, okay, the real vitamin C, I doubled down on that. The more they study coffee, the more you realize how good it is for you. Vitamin C, the real vitamin C. The other vitamin C, ascorbic acid, is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's no good. But it's not near as good as the real vitamin C, and that is coffee. Here's a new study just came out. Incredible. Actually, 2 studies on coffee. But let me talk about it. If this is according to a study over a period of 3 months, if you drink 2.5 cups a day. Now, if you people ask me every day, okay, doc, how much coffee do you drink? I am going to give you the sweet spot. Okay? I'm a big guy on that. Here's my clinical experience over many, many years. Here's the sweet spot on coffee. 4 cups a day. There's the sweet spot. Now, if you drink less than that, that's all right. If you drink more than that, that's all right. The sweet spot is 4 cups. Okay? In my clinical experience. Now, what happens when you drink 2.5 cups for 3 months? And if you have high blood pressure, you know what it does? It decreases blood pressure. Like a med. Just like a med. Every bit as effective as a med. Now, I'm not telling you to get rid of your medication, okay? You got high blood pressure and the doctor's got you on meds. I'm not telling you to get off of that. I'll never do that. You won't hear it here. All I'm telling you is the research. Research says 2.5 cups of coffee a day works like blood pressure medication to lower your blood pressure. And here's what they found. Okay? Here's what they found. They actually were able to measure the endothelial layer of your blood vessels. They measured it for inflammation, damage. And you know what they found coffee did? It helps repair your blood vessels. Isn't that incredible, guys? Now, if you have been following me for any length of time, what have I been saying about coffee? True or false? You have to admit it. I've been consistent. Can you imagine when I was saying stuff like this 40 years ago? People thought I was crazy. I had my colleagues, gurus. Coffee, it's acidic. It dehydrates. It'll take all the minerals out of your body. And the pushback I used to get was incredible. And even today I get some, but not near as much, because they can read these studies like I do. What do you say about that? It actually decreases blood pressure. So the opposite of what they used to say, because if a product dehydrates you and has an effect on your minerals and takes minerals out of your body, if that's what they're saying, well, that can really elevate your blood pressure. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Right? I've often told you the story of Linus Pauling. Who was he? Well, he won a Nobel Prize in medicine. And he was a smart guy, and he used to talk about, he did a lot of research on the other vitamin C, ascorbic acid. He won a Nobel Prize on it. I used to tell him, well, not to his face, but I used to say, way back when, you only missed by 1 letter in the alphabet. Linus. Because vitamin D. But when we replaced, at the Martin Clinic, I literally have replaced ascorbic acid and put it on the shelf to take the real vitamin C that acts like ascorbic acid as an antioxidant, but gives you all the other benefits. I know it's incredible. And I'm sure if Linus Pauling was alive today, he might even be doing research on coffee. That's how good it is for you. Okay? Now there's study after study. I read another study on coffee, how it is so good for your liver. It's so good for your liver. And again, if you're looking at the importance of organs, boy, the liver is important. In this day and age, the liver is so important because the liver has a direct attachment to your brain. It has a direct attachment to your heart. Heart and brain go back to the liver. Because if you're making triglycerides from eating crappy carbohydrates and sugar, you're in trouble. If you don't have enough cholesterol, you're in trouble. Coffee helps. Coffee helps your blood pressure. Wow. I love that. Now, let me give you another one, coffee. Okay? If you drink, this is a new study, just come up. If you drink coffee, let's say you're having carbs. Okay? Now, you know what I think about carbs. I don't think much about them. But let's be honest. That's a big problem in our society today because we're carboholics. But here's what this study says. If, and I have been saying this for a long time, one of the best time to have a coffee is with your meal. Especially if you are eating carbohydrates. It will lower, listen to what it says, this study. It will lower your insulin response and lower your blood sugar. Coffee. Because, and I don't know how many times I'm saying this on the same program. How many years have I been telling you? Coffee acts like metformin. Metformin is a diabetic medication. You don't need metformin, you need coffee. Now look, if you're on metformin, don't tell the world that Dr. Martin told you to get off. I didn't tell you to do that, okay? I'm not in practice anymore. I'm giving educational advice. For education purposes only. Coffee lowers your blood pressure. Coffee lowers your blood sugar. Wow, what a wow. I love coffee. Have you figured that out yet? But I'm doubling down, guys. I'm doubling down. Okay. So if you want to decrease your blood sugar, if you want to decrease your blood pressure, then drink your coffee. Okay. Now, a study on God's candy. Remember I said 2 to 4. 2 to 4. That's what we're calling this. 2 to 4. 2 to 4 cups of coffee a day, 2 to 4. Okay? Now, listen to this study. Study on God's candy. What's God's candy? Everyone? Fruit. This is a study on fruit with 80 participants. And let me just see where I got it. I think I put it down here. Oh, yes. Harvard Harvard study on God's candy, fruit. Now, do I like fruit? I love fruit. But it's God's candy. What do I mean by that? Don't live on it. Don't live on it. I used to tell my patients in my weight loss clinic, when I put them on the program, the reset, even for weight loss, I'd say, you know how bears fatten up for winter? They eat blueberries. That's how they fatten up for winter. They're getting ready for winter, so they put on an enormous amount of weight. And they do that. They're not stupid. Bears aren't stupid. In their DNA, it's telling them to prepare for winter. You're not a bear. You don't have to prepare for winter. Fruit, God's candies. Okay, now I haven't even told you the results of this study, but I'm going to bring that to you right now. Here it is. 2 to 4, they followed 80 people. They made them, probably didn't have to twist their arm, because who doesn't like fruit? But, okay, they got people to participate in a study. Harvard did. 2 to 4 servings of fruit a day for 6 months. Let me make sure I got it right. Yep. 80 people, 2 to 4 servings of fruit, followed them for 6 months, and guess what? Wasn't good. Wasn't good. Here's the results after 6 months, 80 people. Higher levels of fat in the liver. Because guys, listen, you know this and I know this. It's why I preach it all the time. Fructose. Okay? Fructose is different than glucose. In what respect, Doc? In this respect. Fructose makes a beeline for your liver. That's why I have been screaming for so many years, since the 1980s, about fructose, high fructose corn syrup, the Frankenstein of sugars. I've been screaming. They changed the sugar. It's fructose. It's terrible on the liver. It creates fat in the liver and then fat everywhere else. That's why I always tell my patients, I used to tell them, and I'll tell you today, never, ever, ever drink fruit. Don't drink orange juice or apple juice or whatever, because it's fructose. It goes directly to the liver. It fattens up the liver. And even eating, this were people that were eating fruit for 6 months. They measured their livers before and after. They had more fat in their liver. 2 to 4 servings a day. That's not that much. Well, maybe 4 is. God's candy. It's a treat. Don't live on it. I remember reading about Steve Jobs. Remember him? Apple. right? Apple. When he had pancreatic cancer, that's what he died of. And it almost, when I found out what he was doing, I didn't know, but he was a fruit crazy person. He believed he didn't eat meat. He didn't eat eggs. He didn't eat cheese. He lived on plants and especially fruit. And he had pancreatic cancer. No kidding. And then he figured he'd treat his cancer by doubling down on the fruit. Why didn't he call me? Why didn't he call me? I would have told him, don't do that. You're feeding the bears. Here it is, okay? 2 to 4 servings, 6 months, observation, doing before and after testing on liver. They actually measured, and fatty liver went up in all 80 participants. Didn't go down, went up. Harvard, you should have called me. I would have saved you the trouble. I could have told you that. Because that's what fructose does. Right to your liver. Right to your liver. And it packs fat. Ask a bear. Now, here's what else they found. It increased, this is in 6 months, it increased their blood sugar. All of the participants' blood sugar went up. Their fasting blood sugar went up. That's why I call it God's candies. And you know what? I actually tell you, you want to put a few berries. You want to put a few berries in Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, go for it. I mean it. Let the kids have berries. I got no problem with that. Okay? And I'd rather them have a banana than have a chocolate bar. 100% for sure. But guys, don't live on it. And if you got any trouble, if you're part of the, I used to say 88%. Now after, what day was it last week I brought to you? It's now 93% of the population is metabolically unwell. 93%. What a tragedy that is. If you're in that group and you got trouble, then don't eat bananas at any time. Once a month. How's that? Have a treat. Don't eat bananas. An apple a day doesn't keep the doctor away. A coffee a day keeps the doctor away. And preferably up to 4. I mean, we learned that as kids, right? Apple a day keeps the doctor away. I love apples. I don't live on them. Guys, I practice what I preach. I love cherries. I don't live on them. I can't. And neither can you. That's what this study is showing. You know? It'll never get a lot of ink. And people don't want to hear that kind of stuff. The general population doesn't like to hear stuff like that. Everything, Doc, in moderation. Ooh, that gives me a migraine. No, we live in a different world today. We live in a different world today. Go back, watch a movie in the 1950s or the 1960s, and you're going to see small people compared to what we are today. What happened? We changed the sugar from glucose to fructose. What an experiment on mankind. Ooh, not good. The results haven't been good. Crappy carbs, crappy oils, crappy sugar. How do you like that? Crappy carbs, crappy oils, and crappy sugar. Crappy sugar. And I have no optimism that I'm going to change it. But again, I'm aiming at my audience. I aim at you guys so that you know better. Third thing they found. Increase in fatty liver. Increase in blood sugar. And increase, obviously, to some people maybe not obvious, but to me, that was the first thing they would have saw, in my opinion, before the study. If they would have asked me, Harvard would have asked me, I'd have said, here's what you're going to find. I'm glad you're doing the study, but I know what you're going to find. You're going to find that they have insulin, their insulin resistance went up. Yep. Even with God's candies, fruit, their insulin went up. Yep, because that's at the root of everything, isn't it? When it comes to metabolic syndrome. It's the root. It's insulin, my friend. Insulin is a food hormone. And we use way too much. Way too much. If you know someone that has cancer, a few berries, but nothing else. No fruit. Insulin resistance goes up. And fatty liver is up. Blood sugar is up. Interesting studies, eh? I find them interesting. Confirming, but interesting. I'm glad it's not just me saying it. Now, last one. Again, because this acts on the liver. Okay? And what did I tell you? The liver is connected, especially to the brain and especially to the heart. What happens in the liver doesn't stay in the liver. It's not Las Vegas. It has ramifications. Brain, heart. Over and over again. Brain, heart. Here's another one. Okay, again, the 2 to 4, 2 to 4, 2 to 4, 2 to 4. 2 to 3 beers, okay, this is a study came out. 2 to 3 beers a week cause cognitive decline. 2 to 3 beers a week cause cognitive decline. Well, what is it? Alcohol goes to the liver. Just like fructose. Alcohol goes to the liver almost immediately. And look, I'm not telling you not to have a beer, okay? I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you what they're showing. 2 to 4. 2 to 4, 2 to 3 beers, 2 to 4 coffees, the good, 2 to 4 servings of fruit, 2 to 4, 2 to 4. 2 of them aren't good. Don't eat too much fruit, and don't drink too much alcohol, my friend. It's hard on the liver. People think of cirrhosis of the liver. Yeah, that's not good, but, that's heavy drinking. But this is just talking about cognitive decline, the brain. And that's only 2 to 3 beers a week. My word. Okay? Anyway, be careful. I'm just reporting these studies. Be careful. Okay, so what's the moral of the story? What's our takeaways for today? Is there anything better than coffee? Coffee, the sun. They're really close. Coffee, the sun. Wow. The 2 best vitamins on the planet. Coffee and the sun. It's incredible. Don't eat too much fruit. Again, in my weight loss clinic, we didn't allow you any fruit. No, you can't have fruit. What? Well, bears, we learn from them. It'll pack on fat. So if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to have to cut back on God's candy. It's simple as that. And again, it's not that we don't like fruit. Who doesn't like fruit? I love fruit. But it don't love me. But it don't love me. And it don't love you either. Okay? It don't love you either. So be careful, guys. That's all I'm saying. From fatty liver to blood sugar to insulin resistance. Hey, I didn't say that. Well, yes, I have. But studies have shown it. Okay, guys. Okay, we got a great week coming up. Okay, lots of good stuff. Interesting. Studies, articles. And my job is to flag that stuff for you and to bring it to you. And educate. Love educating. Really do. Okay? So guys, if you have any questions, okay? Because sometimes you'll put them on the scroll. I don't see those. Okay? During the program, you can ask me a question if you want, but I don't see it. I really don't. I'm not looking on my left there. I'm looking into the camera on my right as much as I can look into it. Okay? So, but we have a special program on Fridays, question and answer Fridays. So ask your questions. Don't be shy, and I mean it. We'll answer your questions. I'll try and do them on Fridays. Okay? We try and get to every one of them on Friday. So question and answer Friday. Are you getting or receiving our emails? Twice a week we send out an email. Educational emails. Okay? Are you getting that? If not, sign up, martinclinic.com. And again, just a little housekeeping. You can tell your friends about the Doctor Is In podcast. You can get them to watch it live in the morning, 8:30. Or they can download it on their smartphone. Okay? They can download it on their smartphone. They can go to martinclinic.com or just go into podcasts and look for the Doctor Is In podcast. Okay? We thank you for making that very, very, very popular, and we appreciate that. Okay, guys. Until the next time, love ya. And I mean it. Talk to you soon.